Hello. This is a conversation about learning something new. You've started learning, or you want to start learning something like 3D. You want to learn how to create your own worlds or your own characters or bring something to life. And, you're curious about how to put everything together, but the amount of things to learn, there's so much. Well, I just woke up today with, a feeling, or I was thinking a lot about what it takes to learn something new and the fears that people will encounter in learning something new and what holds them back, all these hesitations and things. And just what are the steps to learning something new? I'm fascinated by developing skills and what it takes to do well at something, to perform well at something. And I talk to people who are new at learning 3D often. And it's interesting to see the dynamics of what people go through when they want to put themselves into learning 3D. So this specifically is going to address what it takes to learn something like Blender or anything really. Anything within 3D is what I am focusing on. However, this will apply, I think, to anything. I think, I play a lot of musical instruments, and I think this applies here as well. So anyway, a fear of learning something new. You're scared to learn something new, or you just want to do really well at learning, and what's the fastest track to learn something well? Especially when there's so much to know about this thing, and if this is 3D, there's a lot to learn about the program. Now, I focus a lot on Blender. I first started in Maya when I was learning on my own. I never went to college. I just learned on YouTube, and I was doing my own projects and things. And then, I couldn't afford the student license. Even I wasn't going to school or anything, so I didn't qualify for that. So, and I couldn't afford the license or anything. So that's when I jumped to Blender. That was 2.7, like 2 maybe, back in like 2015. There's a lot to learn. So anyway, let's move on. So the desire to learn something. So you started 3D because you're curious and you want to know how to put your own stuff together, or you want a job in 3D, or you want to know how to bring your own creations to life. And when you put yourself toward that, maybe you have a lot of pressure in doing that. This is a big thing for you. When you start, you can address a lot of like, oh, I'm not good enough, or I just don't think this is the right thing for me because I should get a real job, or I should focus on better skills. Or if it's just a hobby, there's less pressure to do that, so you'll probably learn faster. The whole reason I bring this up is, depending on the pressure that you have to learn this skill, depends on how fast you will learn it, I think, and how well you'll perform in it. How quickly things will stick. And now I think pressure might be the wrong word, because I don't think pressure alone is bad. If you've procrastinated doing an essay or something until the last minute, the pressure is high, at its highest. I have to get this done right now. And it's usually in those moments where you can do really, really, really well, and you'll put out things and it's perfect. I mean, or at least good enough, and you can move on. But I think I would say fear, maybe, or self-doubt when you're doing this, or things like that. So I wouldn't say pressure necessarily, but when you do have a lot of pressure to perform, or you have a lot to prove of yourself, that can really stint the growth within learning this skill, I think. So when you're going into something like Blender and you've got all this stuff to learn, and you've never touched 3D before, you've been very, very, you're familiar with it, but you've got to learn all this new stuff in Blender. I think it's important that you don't have any expectations of yourself when you're learning something. If you set yourself up for something big, you're setting yourself up for failure. I think, and it doesn't matter what skill level you're at. I mean, I've been doing this for a while. I've been working in the game industry professionally for a while, and I'm confident in my skills to be able to put out something that I want to put out, and that I'll get there eventually. But to expect myself to put out something that is just flawless, or something that looks just as good as everything on ArtStation, if not better. I want to impress everyone. I want to get all those likes. I think you set yourself up not just for failure, but I think your quality of work comes back if you don't have things set up in place, like other things we'll talk about, I guess. So when you're learning something new, don't open the program or anything, or whatever it is. Don't go in hoping to come out as exalted and perfect in whatever thing you produce. This leads into the next thing, is allow yourself to play. Play is so important to learning. If we can't just play, I mean, when we think of play, what does that mean? What's the feeling of play? Play it's lighthearted, it's experimental. Play is fun. It's you're messing around, you're allowing yourself to get dirty. And play is, I don't know, maybe experimental. I like that word, but there's probably more description words for play. But in this realm of feeling or intent, when you go in to learn something, you need to allow yourself to play, to experiment. And play doesn't have an end goal in mind, I think. I think when you play, it's just, you're there for the experience. You're there for what's in front of you right now. And you're sitting with it, and you're absorbing in this experience of what is there right now and what you're doing. And play is very, very focused on what's happening at the moment. And I think that's the kind of attitude you have to have in learning anything new. You have to allow yourself to just exist in the moment and not be focused on what's coming next. Don't worry about that. It's, ooh, what's this? What's that? What does this do? You're poking around at things. You're seeing what sticks and what doesn't. You're seeing what blows it up and what makes things look cool. I think this especially hit home for me when I was learning procedural materials in Blender. Learning how to, open up a material. And it's like all these VFX type materials where, I'm making like waves or something, or I'm distorting the texture and everything. And, or, you know, to learn something like this, I have to allow myself, like, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm going in here with all these nodes and things, and I'm just connecting stuff to other things, and I'm trying things out. Ooh, what if this? And I try and get there, and things don't work out, but then I get curious about something else, and let's sit with this for a minute, and let's discover, what is this node? Or go into the documentation, allow your curiosity to guide the play experience. I think that is maybe the most beneficial thing we can do for ourselves when we're trying to learn something new. Allowing that play with no expectations of any result at the end of it. So when it comes to being scared of things, I mean, this is something I hear very often with people getting into 3D, getting familiar with all the concepts, from modeling, clear to rendering, the finished product. People are scared of UVs and texturing. I was. Or I was mostly scared about texturing. Like, I have to have artistic skills to put something together that looks reasonable. How do I make a surface look realistic or something like that? I've got to be able to either paint really well or put, there was a lot of pressure there. I was very doubtful, not confident of my own artistic ability to create textures and surfaces. With UVs, it's just a weird concept for people, and they're not sure, how, something that really fascinated me with 3D. I was learning Unity tutorials when I found out, wow, there's tools that allow you to make your own games, and I can make my own games right now. That's amazing. So I started, taking these tutorials. It was a website called 3D Buzz. It doesn't exist now, I think. But I was watching a tutorial, and they pulled in this tent, and they're saying, okay, this is where we're going to have the player start, and we're going to make a path up to this tent. This is like their base. And I was just looking at this tent, and they were showing the textures for the tent. And I was thinking, oh, how do you like, you have this finished product and it looks just like a tent, but you have this texture and it's all flat, and like, how do you get the texture onto the model like perfectly? It just, like, that blows my mind. Like, how, I don't even know how I would go about placing colors down onto a 1024 by 1024 texture document. Like, where would I even put the strokes to get it to, get on the 3D model fine? Like, that blew my mind. That got me down the rabbit hole. So, and I think that's a common thing, a common, like, wonder or curiosity people have about UVs. It's like, how do you organize your 3D model in such a way that you can get that on? Anyway, people are scared about those types of things, and I think the same thing applies. Now, I think, it's good when you come up with a concept, or not come up with, when you discover a new concept. Oh, modeling. Oh, UVs. Oh, texturing. I think it's important to watch. Just look it up. Just, texturing tutorials, UV tutorials, for the sole purpose of just getting familiar with what people do with it. Like, what is this? How are people using this? This isn't the time to soak up all the right tools and things. This is get the mindset behind it. Like, what is the purpose of UVs? And how are they used? So allow yourself to just sit with videos and watch people, watch the workflow and the thought process, the preparation. Those are the things you're trying to gather up, not the specific how-tos. People get so caught up on very specific tutorials, But you have to take the concept from the tutorials. Don't look at the specifics and the right buttons and following every single click. I've done that and I've been there and I've wasted so much time. You need to get the concept and the thought behind it. If you can really lock into the thought and the intent behind the actions, then you can go off. You're set to be on your own 2 feet. I think that's what's the most important thing. So with texturing, what are some of the workflows? What are the tools people use? Are people using Blender? Are there other tools? Be familiar with this stuff and see how people use it. Ask questions. Now, if you're watching this video, then you can always ask questions like, I've always wondered, how does someone go about doing this? Or why is this? Or what's the difference between Substance Designer and Substance Painter? I don't understand. And what the heck is Substance Alchemist? It's a lot of these things at first that, they don't make sense. Like, why are there all these tools? And yeah. So allow yourself to be curious about those things and get familiar with those concepts. So when it comes to UVs, after UVs and texturing and modeling, anything really, after you've seen enough videos and things and you're familiar with what people do with it and why people do it, like what it sets itself up for the next steps, then allow yourself to poke around with it and play with it. No expectations. With UVs and texturing, oh man, my model's gonna look like crap. You shouldn't worry about that. Yes, allow it to look like crap. Intentionally make crap. If that's funny to you, do it. So I got myself into a rut one time. I've been, learning how to make games myself. I was doing all kinds of stuff with these group of friends, and I was getting to the point where I was discouraged about what I was able to do. I felt like I couldn't make what I really wanted to make. My quality wasn't there, and I was getting frustrated with that. And I think for a long time I didn't try to make anything. I just felt defeated, I guess. And I was playing Banjo-Kazooie one day on an emulator. That's just one of the games I grew up with. And I was just looking at everything, just thinking, man, these graphics, they're so simple. They're so easy to make. Like I can do this right now. I think so. I think I can make this right now. This was the best of its day. Back in late 1990s, maybe 1998, 99, 2000. Like this was the peak of the industry. And there was nothing wrong with it back then. People only saw this as like cutting edge. And I thought, wait, if I was where I am now 20 years ago, I'd be almost industry ready. Like I'd be able to get a job. That's amazing. And that thought inspired me. I thought I can make something like this. So that was I set my bar, my expectation to be really low. And I think it's best just to not have any expectations. Just go in and poke around and just keep making stuff until you're satisfied with it for now and come back later. But I set my expectations a lot lower and I was able to progress again. I think expectations really are the killer to progress. It's that ego getting in the way. And perhaps it's the ego that is the murder of progress. I think it's important to remove any expectations of yourself, any quality. When you see your work after doing your best, and it's not that great. Do you get discouraged? I think it's very normal to get discouraged. But if you can have the mindset of, okay, this is where I'm at now. I haven't come across the concepts and the certain learning or skill elements, the elements of the skill. I haven't come across building up this certain elements of building up my skill to be able to put out something that I want to put out yet. But I'll get there. Like, have a sense of patience knowing that those things will come, and just allow yourself to, slowly get there over time, which can be, frustrating. I want to be, industry ready now, or I want to be able to make the thing I've been wanting to make right now. And that's hard. But, when you try and you make it and it doesn't look as good and you're like, why doesn't it look good? I don't know. Allow yourself to go, okay, yeah, this is just where I'm at right now. And there are some things I need to, learn about. I need to go ask people, what do you think I should do next to get here? I'm trying to get to this result. How do I get there from where I'm at? What am I missing? And take away the self-shame, the self-doubt. It's a poison to progress. Anyway, those are some other thoughts. So, we've talked a lot about being scared of doing UVs and texturing and not having expectations and allowing yourself to play. So, how do you, when you're learning this brand new, how do you go about making your own object? Or how do you, come off tutorials? Well, I think, that's, it goes back to playing, but also it's building up a mindset that can carry out through everything. I do have a video talking about the approach to model anything, which talks about looking for big shapes, medium shapes, and small shapes, and just thinking of them as different parts of the process. Okay, part 1, let's only block out these big shapes. Part 2, let's sculpt in those shapes and things some more to define things. And then step 3 would be, let's refine it even further with surface details and things like that. But when you're starting out, it can be easy to get addicted to tutorials because that's where you feel like you'll make the progress. Like, a lot of people fall into the trap of, I don't know how to make anything, but oh, look, here's something I made, here's something I made, and they're trying to impress their friends and stuff. And they're only following tutorials, and that's not a bad thing. Follow tutorials enough where you feel comfortable. Don't put any shame in any of your decisions that you make. Just allow yourself to play, but eventually you need to come off tutorials. And I think you will learn quicker when you take yourself off tutorials. Instead of following things, go in with a blank slate. I'm going to make a coffee cup. I'm going to make a fruit bowl. I'm going to learn sculpting to make the fruit, or, learn some subdivision modeling. Hard surface modeling, I'm making these man-made objects and things, which, some booleans and things might take place. Or I'm going to go and learn organic things, trees and rocks and stuff. I'm going to get into sculpting. And then when you start this, you have an end goal in mind. Okay, let's make this. I'm going to make this one object. When you run into a problem, I'm doing my coffee cup, but how do I get the handle to connect right? Or how do I start with a handle? What's a good process? And you think, oh man, try things. But if you come into a complete stop where you've no idea like what tools to do or whatever, that's when you go up and look for a tutorial or something and see how they did it and get some examples, and better yet, ask someone. there are lots of like Discord communities and things that they have communities of people who are all learning the same thing. And to come out and say, hey, I'm stuck, that's the best thing you can do for yourself. Having a sense of community in that, not having any ego like, oh, my stuff looks like crap right now. Just think of where you'll be in 5 years from now if you keep asking questions. Allow yourself to look like an idiot. Allow yourself to look like a noob. Because more chances than not, there's so many people who are the exact same part or exact same part of the journey as you. And just own the fact that you don't know how to do everything yet. That's good. And just allow yourself to sit in that and allow yourself to get the help. Be honest with where you are, and just know that if you keep asking questions, ask all the stupid questions. If you keep doing that, you're going to find all the answers. And just think of where you'll be in 5 years. If you hide, where you are and you don't ask for help, you're not going to make progress. You're going to get stuck. You're going to have a lot of self-doubt. It's going to be discouraging and you'll quit. Sometimes people don't know where to go to ask questions. If you look up on, Discord communities, there's so many 3D modeling communities. And, at the very least, you can comment on a YouTube video. And if no response, just keep asking around. I will respond to as many people as I can. But feel free to comment here and help get direction, or I can help, point people in the right direction to get that community support. But anyway, got to wrap this up. It's turning into quite a podcast or something. So I think I've really covered a lot about the mindset of getting into learning something new. So just as a recap, I'm coming in fresh into, learning Blender for the first time. Or I'm learning texturing and I've decided I'm going to learn Substance Painter to texture my models. Or I'm starting, to learn and get familiar with the UV process. Allow yourself to sit with it. Have no expectations of yourself. Allow yourself to poke around. You're not going to get final results. You want final results right now. You want a good render or a good looking video game or something. It's not going to come yet. Allow yourself to be patient and go, that will come another time when I feel ready. Like, that should not be your focus right now. Your focus should be sit in this new environment, the software, and poke around at the UI. It's helpful to have looked up some videos and see what the programs are capable of, what they're meant to do, what their purpose is, and allow yourself to poke around with it. Grab a cube, the default cube or something, start adding cuts in it. What are the methods of making cuts? Then start extruding things. What can I do with this? And just poke at things and, oh, what's the mirror modifier? How does subdivision work? Turn on subdivision surface modifier. Start making cuts. How do I make good shapes with this? Poke around with it. That's dumb. Let's look at something else instead. Look what you can do with the array modifier. That's kind of cool. What is this modifier? Look up the documentation. Look at some of the options that they offer and the explanations on the documentation. What's this tool? Or, look in the menus. Just look around in all the different menus and what does this do? If you're in Substance Paints for the first time, you pull in just a cube. Doesn't matter. Export a cube as an FBX and import that cube. And, it's got to have some UVs on it. So, if you pull in the default cube from Blender, then it's already going to have UVs. Go in Substance Painter and just, okay, what is all this? What do I see? I see a bunch of all these spheres with different colors on, different materials. I'm going to drag and drop it on the object. Oh, look, a bunch of layers popped up. Turn things on, turn things off. Expand the folders with the layers in there. Oh, this is base color. This is metallic. These are the scratches. Look in the masks. What the heck is a mask? Make your own layer. Make your own, put a mask on that layer. And start messing with the masks, adding things. What's a texture? What are the parameters that they have? And look around and just allow yourself to just get familiar with this tool. So what do you do when you pick up, you see this crazy tool? It's like an alien craft. And it's got lights on it, or it's just plain, or who knows. You pick it up, and what's the first thing you're going to do when you pick this thing up? Just naturally. You're going to look at it, hold it, move it around in your hand, rotate it, look at it at all angles. You're going to poke at things. What does it feel like? How does, what is this thing made of? See how the light reflects off of it, and you're gathering information from this, and you're poking at things. Or if it's like a screwdriver, then I don't know, sonic screwdriver, something. What does this button do? And you're pressing things, and you've no idea. You've got no expectations. You have zero pressure to get something from this tool. You are just figuring out what this tool is and what it does. And that's the exact same approach to learning anything new. Pick it up as a brand new foreign tool, and you're just looking at this okay, what are all these buttons? And you're just clicking everything. Make a mess. Destroy the file. I think it's common to have a mindset of oh no, I'm going to mess up my file. I've got one shot at this. No. Allow yourself to just crash the program. See if you can push it to its limits. Break the program. Make crap. Allow yourself to just play and come up with something. And chances are, when you have those incredibly low expectations, you'll end up walking away with something that's kind of cool. You'll find something new and you'll go, this looks pretty cool actually. Or, you'll discover something that just blows your mind away. I still learn new things when I do this. I've been doing this for, since 2015. And now that I'm doing it full time, I go in and I'm still learning new things. I don't do cloth simulation much, but that's another thing. That's whoa, have you seen this? Look what you can do with this. And just allow yourself to play. Anyway, I tend to ramble on a lot. I think I'm done for now. Hopefully this has helped you. I remember where I was when I was learning 3D. It was a long, lonely journey of just trying to figure this out. I didn't go to college. And I wished for a long time I just knew someone who could just tell me where to go next, what I needed to know next. So I hope, that is my hope with a lot of my videos, is, a lot of my videos, I'm learning something new and I'm making a video to solidify it for myself. I want to learn this, so I'm going to see if I can explain this and teach it, and then it will, solidify in my own mind. And with some of these videos, where I feel like I'm teaching different concepts, I hope that I can help get someone else started and feeling more confident about their 3D journey. There's a lot to learn. It can be confusing, but anyway, I offer my support. Good luck to breaking the program, and feel free to reach out and comment and get tightly knit in some communities. Get some support during this. That's the best thing. Anyway, thanks for listening. I need to wrap up now. See ya.